Coming up, the government finally introduces climate change as a GCSE subject. Adventurer Bear Gryls tells FYI the government is listening.
We can do something, we are doing something, change is happening.
And 2 years since the global Black Lives Matter protests, we meet the singer who went viral with his song about racism.
I just wanna live.
Welcome to FYI, where every week we investigate the big stories that affect us. And this week we're going to kick it off with some good news.
Yeah, so after years of campaigning by us kids, environmental groups and celebrities, the government has finally announced that climate change will become a new GCSE subject.
The new Natural History GCSE will teach us things like the effects of global warming and so much more. Its aim is to try and help us create our own ideas and even get a job that involves saving the planet.
The new GCSE was revealed at an event in London and FYI was invited. So you might recognise this building. Yep, it's the Natural History Museum, which showcases everything to do with Earth and the animal kingdom. What better place for a massive announcement about efforts to save our planet? Inside at a press conference, the politician responsible for our education announced we'll be studying climate change at our schools.
We will introduce a natural history GCSE, giving young people a real chance to develop a deeper knowledge and understanding of our amazing planet.
I caught up with him afterwards and I had a burning question. Why has it taken us so long to get climate change taught as an official subject in our schools?
So we have for a number of years now taught climate change in geography, in citizenship, in STEM subjects, but I felt that we could go further because I think young people will be inspired, I hope, to become the David Attenboroughs of the future, to become the future scientists and tech entrepreneurs that save and protect our planet.
The government's decision has the backing of TV presenter and explorer Bear Gryls. He used to question whether humans are really responsible for global warming, but he has definitely changed his mind. What is your biggest fear when it comes to climate change?
The pace, can we do enough? Can we change it? Has the damage gone on too long? But the thing is, the more clever people I listen to, the more I realise actually it's not too late. And I don't want any young person to feel despair. There's a lot of kind of anxiety and despair, but we can do something. We are doing something. Change is happening. I know sometimes on the government levels it feels glacial and slow, but it is happening. And if we act now, it will be okay.
So all this talk about climate change, we're going to see how much you know. You ready?
Go for it.
So what was agreed in the Paris Agreement?
So the Paris Agreement is to make sure that we keep the temperature of the Earth. Hopefully we get to the 1.5.
So how much have sea levels rose since the 1900s?
My goodness. That one you're going to stump me on. You're going to tell me.
Yes. They have so far risen 21 centimetres.
Yeah. Which is dangerous.
Yeah.
And worrying.
Well, I don't think he did too bad there, to be honest with you. It's just a shame that the subject won't be introduced for another 3 years.
It's annoying that you and me will miss out, but it does mean that future generations will be well across how we can save the planet.
Good point. Well, in other news this week, there's been a lot of fuss and coverage over the French president, Emmanuel Macron, winning his second term in office. Want to know why? So it turns out it's been 20 years since a French president won re-election. A lot of people didn't vote though, saying they didn't like President Macron or his opponent Marine Le Pen.
From right now, I'm no longer a candidate for one particular side, but I'm the president of everyone.
My story of the week has got to be the British success at the Laureus World Sports Awards. Tennis player Emma Raducanu won Breakthrough of the Year award. Skateboarder Sky Brown took home the Comeback of the Year award. She recovered from an injury, didn't she? And BMX rider Bethany Shriver won the Action Sportsperson award. Nice one, guys.
Here on FYI, we aim to give you a voice with big conversations on big issues. We call it Kidversation.
This month marks 2 years since the global Black Lives Matter protests against racism. and FYI's Declan met singer Keedron Bryant. This is their kidversation.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can.
In May 2020, 12-year-old singer Keedron Bryant posted a video on social media. It went viral.
I just wanna live.
The song I Just Wanna Live, which he had written with his mother, was inspired by Keedron's fear of being killed because he is black.
I just wanna live. I'm a young black man.
It was shared by the former US President Barack Obama, Beyoncé, Will Smith, will.i.am, and many more famous black Americans.
And I see what's being done to my kind.
It was the height of the global reaction to the murder of the African-American George Floyd by a white police officer.
My people don't want no trouble.
His death was seen as another example of terrible racism, not just among some police officers, but across society.
I just wanna live.
For me as a young black man in America, it was just enlightening and just gave me hope to keep going on and keep spreading the message, keep fighting for what is right.
No matter where I be, there's no place safe for me.
The world felt that enough was enough. It was just no longer acceptable that someone young and talented could fear for their future, in America or anywhere in the world, simply because of their color.
God protect.
But 2 years on from George Floyd's death, I want to know, has anything really changed?
I just wanna live.
I'm in Jacksonville, the biggest city in the state of Florida in the USA, where Keedron Bryant and nearly 300,000 black Americans live. What I do know is that since the Black Lives Matter protests, the lives of Keedron and his family have been transformed. Here's the moment Keedron opens a gift, a professional microphone, to celebrate a recording contract with a major record label.
Tell me, what are we supposed to do? We've been marching instead of shooting since Martin Luther.
Hey, what's up? Hey, nice to meet you.
I know I've been changed.
My life has changed. I'm completely different since I went viral.
Oh, I've been changed.
I'm going places and singing in different interviews.
God protect me.
I got to get signed to a record label, Warner Records.
I'm infatuated, but she told me I was too young.
And also just working with a lot of other artists. Meeting legends. It's just really impacted me in a special way because it's always been a dream since I was 5 to make people feel good inside and just touch people's lives with my gifts. So it's definitely made a big impact on my life.
I just wanna live.
The first time I heard the song, when I saw that video actually,
Protect me.
I just found it amazing, more because for one thing you're an amazing singer, but also there's the lyrics.
My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle.
Crazy to think that you were 12 years old and giving everyone who saw that video so much insight.
But it's definitely a lot of fear when you step outside the house.
God protect me.
I want to reach everybody across the globe, not just in America, inspire other people around the globe, because racism not only happens in just America, even though it's bigger in America, it may happen in Africa, Brazil, Britain.
I just wanna live.
In 2021, America's new president, Joe Biden, and the country's first African and Asian American Vice President, Kamala Harris, promised to enforce changes to the way the police operate to combat racism and to end discrimination in schools, colleges, and workplaces. But I found a poll that shows 75% of Americans still believe their country is racist.
So since Joe Biden became president, have you seen any change in the way things happen, or has it kind of just stayed the same?
It's a small change, honestly, because I don't feel as if people are as open to being racist out in public as often, like in schools and stuff.
I know for myself, being a black male is just getting pulled over by the police. So I just try to have hope, courage, and be strong.
We're always compared to animals, monkeys, whatever you want to call it. But if they would just see us as God sees us, His creation, we're all humans, we're all supposed to be equal. They just don't give us a chance.
Keedron tells me, to truly understand why racism is such an issue, we have to go back to a bleak time in our history, hundreds of years ago, when Africans were forced into slavery across the Americas. Keedron's home city, Jacksonville, is named after a US president who owned slaves, Andrew Jackson. And just an hour's drive from here, you can see what remains of one of the largest tobacco plantations in nearby Savannah. Here, hundreds of slaves from Africa were forced to work. We're meeting local historian Dr. Stan Deaton to get more info.
So we're standing on Butler Island. There would have been hundreds of people at various times working out in these rice fields, enslaved people. And we're standing here on a hot, wet summer day, and this would have been typical of the kind of weather that the enslaved people would have had to endure as they stood out here. There were mosquitoes, there were alligators, there were snakes. There have been several families probably to one slave cabin. So it was about as bad as you can imagine.
So how old were the slaves working out here?
They would have been all ages, but once an enslaved person reached the age of about 8, they came out and began working.
Wow.
Plantation owners were forced to end slavery in 1865.
So actually being here on the actual plantation, it just makes me feel really just emotional.
Yeah, and to know also your ancestors could have been here.
I feel like slavery still exists, but in a modern way. Police brutality, even though it may not be in the field, it's still happening, so it definitely played a big role in today's racism.
Keedron's right. The end of slavery wasn't the end of the fight for black people to be treated equally. To make this point, Keedron used Jacksonville's oldest church to film the video to the gospel version of I Just Wanna Live. It was here in 1865 that freed slaves had to fight white people to be able to worship here.
So this church was owned by white plantation owners, and when slavery ended, they banned black people from ever going to this church. But then they went to court, and a judge said, nope, they can go in back and they can actually own this church.
Wow, so they gave the church to the black people who had been banned.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
But that struggle for equality went on for generations. In the 1950s and 60s, black Americans faced violence and arrest as they demanded better treatment and equal opportunities. Change did come. And in 2008, Barack Obama was sworn in as the country's first African-American president. Keedron believes that moment in history has a massive impact on young black people today.
It doesn't matter whether you're black or white or Hispanic or Asian or Native American or young or old or rich or poor, able, disabled, gay or straight. You can make it here in America if you're willing to try.
Keedron plans to use his music to inspire young people across the world to let nothing stand in their way of their dreams for a better life.
We still have a long way to go and a long journey ahead of us. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I believe that we can just keep on growing and growing until we reach our goal.
I mean, wow, that was really moving. It was, and I think it was super eye-opening and thought-provoking as well. Now, if you guys want to see more Kidversations, just head to first.news/FYI and click on the link.
Plus, there are details on our website on how you can create an FYI News Club at your school.
And club members can even be a guest reporter.
See you next time.
Bye.